We have spent a lot of time on my channel talking about little things that have helped my husband Aaron and I be successful in paying off our debt, but we haven't really sat down and talked about how we did it. Just laying it all out. This is how we paid off $125,000 worth of debt in 28 months. This video is going to be cram-packed with information, so get your pen and paper out because you might want to take notes. Actually, you don't have to. If you scroll down, there is a link to my blog that has a lot of this information and additional information on it about how we paid off $125,000 in 28 months. So let's get this show on the road. My name is Allison with Baby Stepping to Freedom. My husband Aaron and I paid off $125,000 of debt in 28 months. I have had so many people say, "That's ridiculous. How could anybody do that? This must be fake. They must make so much money." And it's like, no, not really. We did everything that I'm going to talk about in this video, and it is attainable. We are not like raking in millions and paying off debt, because it's fun and we want to. Well, we do want to, but not because it's fun. But what I'm about to talk about, all of these steps, this is how we did it. So the very first thing that we did when we had that moment of we never want to feel this way again. How we're feeling right now is awful, and we don't want to feel like this again. The very first thing we did was we added up our debts. That was huge for us because really, before we sat down and literally listed out every single debt and how much it was, we had no idea how much debt we actually had. I did not think that we had over $100,000 worth of debt. In my mind, I don't even know how much I thought we had, but it was not over $100,000. And then we discovered it was $125,000, and I was horrified. We were both horrified. We were feeling sick to our stomachs that we had gotten this deep in debt, and we didn't even know it. We knew we had debt. We knew we had a lot of debt, but this much, over $100,000? How did that even happen? And it was tense. We were not happy. We felt anger at our situation. We were frustrated with each other. It was not a great moment for us, but it was a huge, important moment in our debt-free journey because we thought about how we felt in that moment and we thought we never want to feel this way again. And we've stuck to that. I've talked about it a lot on my channel, but something that was huge for us was we read The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. I'll have a link to it below. I think everybody should read it because it really lays out the plan for what you should do. And it's realistic and he doesn't sugarcoat it. The plan makes it seem, although overwhelming, it's attainable. And it's like, wow, when it's listed out like this, like it is in The Total Money Makeover, it feels a little better. Like I have a plan, I know what I need to do. So if you're feeling lost and confused, definitely read The Total Money Makeover because it will help set you on a path. So after we added up our debts, we read The Total Money Makeover, that helped us create a budget. We didn't really have a budget before we started this. We had a list of our bills and a way to keep track of our bills to make sure we paid them. I think we called that a budget, but it wasn't a budget. It was a list of our bills. We created a zero-based budget and we have stuck to that budget for years. Now, a zero-based budget does not mean that you have $0 in your bank account. A lot of people think zero-based budget means you're spending all of your money on something. No, it just means every single dollar that you have coming in has a name and a purpose. You're not leaving a bunch of money that's like, well, I'll just do whatever with this money. Every single dollar has a purpose, even if that purpose is a buffer. It's okay to have a buffer in your account, and you can check out my zero-based budget. I post it every month to show what our budget looks like in our debt life and in our debt-free life. We keep a buffer in our account. For us, it's usually around $20 to $40, and that's just because if it's any more than that, we have learned that we kind of will spend it. We know we don't need a buffer much bigger than that because we have everything accounted for, and so really that buffer is for anything that we just may have forgotten. It doesn't happen very often, and most of the time we kind of end up spending our buffer, so we keep it pretty small because we cannot be trusted with money that does not have a purpose, even the buffer. So after adding up our debts and creating a zero-based budget, we were on a roll. That is really all it took in the beginning to get moving. We added up our debts from smallest to largest, which is the debt snowball. And by giving every dollar a name, we realized that we had extra money that we could put towards our smallest debt. And it didn't take us very long to pay off our smallest debt because we weren't wasting our money on all these random things that we didn't need. And that brings me to the next thing that we did. We made sacrifices. I have a video talking about a lot of the sacrifices that we made, probably not all of them, but cutting out unnecessary expenses, freeing up money, stopping any sort of spending that is unnecessary, going out to eat. We did not go out to eat for months and months and months in the beginning of our debt-free journey. And we said no to things that cost us money. We excluded ourselves from lots of stuff that we knew were not going to help us reach our goals. And that's just a few of the sacrifices that we made. When you stop spending money on things like going out to eat and going to do fun things like go to the movies or go on a trip, you soon realize that you have a lot of free time that you didn't have before. When you cut out activities that cost money, you're like, wow, now what do I do with my time? Maybe not. We don't have kids, so it was a little more free time for us, but we had to learn what to do in our free time. And what we chose to do was make as much money as possible. We took advantage of the fact that we now had free time, and any moment that we weren't making money is essentially lost money. So we picked up side hustles. We did extra jobs at work. We did things on the weekend. We sold stuff around our house. We have been selling stuff around our house for years now. We're still selling stuff around our house. I don't even know how we even have stuff left because we've been selling so much stuff. Dave Ramsey says, when you start paying off debt, sell so much that the kids think they're next. Well, we don't have kids, but the cats definitely thought they're gonna be next, but they're worth millions to us. No one would buy them for millions. So take all your newfound free time that you are not spending money and start making money. Anything and everything that's legal, I guess, you should be doing to make money. Bring in extra money and send it all to debt. These little snowflakes of a $10 payment here and a $50 payment here. Before we knew it, we would often have hundreds of dollars that we put towards debt just for little things that we've done, sold things, did a little side hustle here, a side hustle there, and it helped us. I would say side hustle and extra jobs and selling things probably gave us at least a 6-month advantage in our debt-free journey. Without those things, it probably would have taken us at least 6 months longer, if not more. The last two things that we did are a little more abstract or hard to explain, or they're not things that you are specifically doing, I guess. The first is living intentionally. This takes practice and is not just like, I'm gonna live intentionally now. No, living intentionally takes time and effort, and it can be frustrating and it can be overwhelming, but as you start thinking about intentionality as you go, it gets a lot easier. So basically for us, it was just every single purchase, every single thing we spent our money on, we asked ourselves, is this thing we're spending our money on worth what it costs versus putting that money towards debt? So even asking ourselves that with groceries, is spending $200 on groceries worth not putting that money towards debt? Well, yeah, because we have to have food, but maybe we don't need all the extra things. Maybe it's like, wow, that box of Oreos would be really great right now, but that's $5 that I can't put towards debt. So making those decisions every single time you spend money. And that's why I say it can be exhausting, it can be overwhelming, but it starts to become second nature where you're really thinking about all of the choices that you're making and thinking, is this helping me get towards my ultimate goal? And finally, the last thing, consistency. We were on our debt-free journey for 28 months. That is 853 days. That's a long time. That's a lot of days to fall off track, a lot of days to give up, a lot of days to decide that we don't want to do this anymore. But we stayed consistent every single month, twice a month. We did a budget. Every single month, we made a meal plan. Well, that's not true. I used to not meal plan. Now I don't know how to live without a meal plan. But we made the choice every single day that we are going to continue doing this. When we started clearing out debts and we had an extra $2,000 just sitting there and we're like, this is $2,000, we could go on a trip right now, or we could put it towards debt. And every month we had to make that choice that all this money that we had worked to free up by eliminating expenses and sacrificing and writing a budget and paying off our debts from smallest to largest, before we knew it, we had thousands of dollars left over that we were able to put towards debt. And we had to consistently make the choice to keep paying off debt, to not continue accruing debt, and to work towards our ultimate goal of being debt-free. This is a little bit off topic, but it kind of pertains to what I just mentioned about consistency and making that choice to pay off debt. A lot of times people say, wow, I wish I had thousands of dollars to put towards debt every month. And when I started my debt-free journey, I probably would have said the same thing, because every single month we were putting expenses like groceries and gas on credit cards. I can't even remember how many times I pulled up to the gas pump and thought, I have no idea how much money I have in my bank account right now, so I'm just gonna use my credit card for gas because I might overdraft, I don't know. And between then and paying off our debt, we essentially made the same amount of money. Between not being able to pay our bills to paying thousands of dollars a month towards debt, we did not increase our income that much. The majority of our income increase during our debt-free journey was due to our side hustles and those little snowflake payments here and there. But as far as our full-time income, we essentially made about the same amount of money the entire time. Yet we went from not being able to pay our bills and putting everything on credit cards to paying thousands of dollars a month towards debt. And all of these things that I mentioned here, that is how. It's not because we got a huge raise. It's not because we're making millions. No, it's because we knew what we wanted. We decided this was going to happen. We did everything in our power to make it happen, and we stayed consistent. I feel like I'm getting a little heated here. Whew. I've had a lot of people actually say some pretty negative things about how what we did is not real or not attainable or real people can't do that. Well, newsflash. I am a real person. I am not a robot. And I did do it, and it is possible. It is a lot of debt. It is a pretty short period of time, although it felt like the longest time ever. And it might take you longer than it took me, but that's okay. As long as you're working towards this goal, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. It doesn't matter if I did it faster than you. It doesn't matter if you do it faster than me. Pay off your debt, work towards your goals, and be consistent. That is it. I could probably talk about this forever, as you can see. I get very passionate and heated about this conversation because when people tell me that they can't do it, I just say you're giving yourself an excuse to not do it. Everybody can do this. Everybody's journey is different, but the steps that I just talked about are possible for every single person, regardless of your situation. So I hope that you can take something from this video and apply it to your life, whether you need to pay off debt or not. I hope that it's been helpful and maybe has helped change your thought process about people paying off debt or how you can pay off debt or whatever it is. If you like this video, please scroll down and subscribe. Turn on the little notifications for my videos so you get an alert every time I post something. And I'll see you next time with more videos.